So I tested it and it worked. And when we raised our prices and got our funnel dialed in, that was my first $200,000 month.
What is up, all my crazy, amazing, talented agency motherfuckers out there in the world? I have for you guys a legend and somebody who has been extremely personally influential to me. Russ over here is responsible for 3 of my children. Ilka and I met inside of his program. He's also the monster who got me to raise my prices back in 2016. I was that poor guy struggling to charge $1,000 and feeling like nobody on planet Earth had the money. This is the guy who gave me the kick in the ass to like 5x our pricing and get it. And he's also just a really cool dude that I think has some amazing insights that you guys are going to benefit from when it comes to growing this damn business and doing it in a way where you're not a slave to it, where you actually have some leverage built into this machine. Anyways, for those of you guys who don't know, this is Russ Rafino, and he's a cool motherfucker. So thank you, Russ, for coming on here and doing this.
You got it, man. My pleasure.
So let's start with what I think will be the most useful for the greatest segment of our folks, which is you're the guy who kicked my ass on premium pricing. And I don't think I ever told you this, but in 2016, I was charging $1,000 for my starter package, and I was getting pushback on it. And you actually told me some very counterintuitive advice. You said, raise your prices. And what I now know in hindsight is that, like, in doing so, you attract a totally different tier of buyer looking for a different solution. But in my mind, I was getting so much pushback at $1,000 that I thought nobody on planet Earth would ever say yes to that. I wonder if you could give your thoughts on kind of like why premium pricing, why premium price offers. I know you probably said this 1,000 times, but now let's hear it 1,001 because this is going to be the most succinct version of it.
Well, so like I started out doing low ticket, right? Which I think is probably where everybody starts.
Yeah.
And, we would do these launches back in the day where we would sell something for anywhere from $7 to like $97. And, we would sell thousands of copies of whatever it was. And people were happy and refunds were low. And the feedback we got from these, ebooks or video courses or, whatever we were selling, the feedback was always good. But then I would check in with people and I'd be like, hey, Frankie, man, what'd you think of that video course you bought? And they'd be like, whoa, yeah, dude, it was great. Okay, cool, man. Did you put it into practice? Did you get any results? Oh, well, I bought some other products last week and some other products the week before. So I'll get around to it at some point. And so I realized like I was selling these courses and programs and people were buying them and they were happy, but like nobody was taking action and nobody was getting the result. And it's like, maybe that shouldn't have bothered me, but it did. And I thought to myself, okay, well, look, what if I just flip this model around on its head, where instead of trying to sell thousands of copies of something at $27 or whatever, I charged $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 to work with me and only worked with a handful of people every month. Well, what would happen then? And my guess was they probably show up, they'd be committed, they would do the work. I could give them a real VIP experience because I've only got a handful of people to work with now. And I bet that overall they would actually get the result and it would be amazing. And so that was kind of like my hypothesis. So I tested it and it worked. And when we raised our prices and got our funnel dialed in, that was my first $200,000 month. And all of those like little, prophecies about what I thought was going to happen, they all came true. Everybody they were the coolest people you could ever meet. They did the work, they got the result. And it was just a far more rewarding experience across the board.
Yeah. And I can actually confirm this. And I got a funny little story about that, because when you actually told me to raise my price to 5,000, I was in that phase a lot of people go through where you're learning the ropes on sales calls and you're still like hearing no, and you're not quite sure what you don't know. And I kept hearing no at this lower price. And then in the middle of COD, I 5X'd my price. And I actually remember there was a lawyer named Tim, and he said, okay, let's do it. And I actually remember being so shocked that he said yes, that I actually didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, like where do we actually go from here? And so you guys had said like, hey, Stripe is a better solution than PayPal. And I'd never been a Stripe user back in 2016. So I switched over to Stripe, and I entered his credit card details, and it gave me some error. And back in those days when you had a new Stripe account, they had like a sandbox or a test mode. And so I emailed their support, like, hey, what's going on? They didn't have like live chat support. So it took a day and a half. And I actually lost my first $5,000 client. But you better believe the next time around, I knew exactly what to do. And I looked like I had done it a million times. But, you know, there was something really magical about that because you shattered my mindset in what was possible. I literally, like, legitimately didn't believe anyone would ever say yes. So when the dude said yes, I was like, excuse me, like, what? And it showed it was all possible. And one of the things you said that for me was a big realization that took really a lot of years to really integrate. But you said people are not buying their way into your solution, and they're buying their way out of their problem. And we got a lot of agency folks in this audience who are listening to this right now who know what their solution is. They do SEO, they do pay per click, they run ads for people, they do build websites, they build funnels, they write copy, they do all those kinds of things. But the vast majority of them can't tell me what problems they're solving. I wonder if you could just elaborate on that kind of they're buying their way out of people's problems and not into your solution.
So the wrong way to talk about what you do is to talk about like where you got, if you're a coach, let's say where you got certified or your unique, like whiz bang, amazing, wonderful, process and like where you got certified or, whatever, because your audience doesn't care about that at all. The only thing they care about is, can you help me solve this problem that I'm dealing with right now? And so the mistake that coaches and agencies make is they spend too much time talking about their solution and not enough time talking about the problem as their audience is experiencing it. So, Clients on Demand, man, what we do is difficult to say the least, because most of the people that we work with, they're legit experts, but they don't necessarily have a ton of testimonials and case studies. They don't necessarily have a bunch of letters after their name. Most of the time they're launching some sort of brand new program that's their new high ticket program. So the question is, how do we establish our client's authority when we don't have any of those things? And the way that you establish your authority is to describe your audience's problems better than they can. Because when you can describe your audience's problems better than they can, they automatically assume that you know the answer. So for our clients that have a marriage offer, we run copy like this. Does this sound like you? Do you wake up every morning 12 inches away from this person that's supposed to be the love of your life, but you feel like there's a huge gap between you and it's getting wider every day and you have no idea how to stop it? If it's like for husbands, we might say something like, does this sound like you? Do you walk past your wife's cell phone every day and find yourself reaching to check it out and go through it, but you're terrified of what you might find out if you did? So you're speaking to them about the problem that they have as they experience it every single day. And when we hear someone do that, we hear someone telling us things that we haven't even told our best friend, the immediate reaction that everyone has is, oh my God, yes, tell me how to fix this. Yeah. And that's what we want. So if you can do that in your marketing, where it's like, are you experiencing this? So if it's an agency, are you tired of wasting your time talking to browsers who aren't buyers? Are you tired of hearing, I have to think about it, I have to talk to my wife? Are you tired of hearing, I can't afford it, it's too expensive, right? And then what you do, Frankie, is you take the problems that they think they have and you reframe those problems as just being symptoms of a bigger problem they're not even.
Can I just say that's true, by the way? That's not just a technique. That's a fact in my reality.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like, that's what they're going through. And then what you do is you say, hey, does this sound like you? Does this sound like you? Does this sound like you? Well, you know what? None of those things are the real problem. The real problem is, and then you shift them over to your unique mechanism of how you are going to fix that bigger problem that no one else is even talking about. And that's how you can create your own economy. Because if you're successful at convincing them that all these problems they think they have are just symptoms of a bigger problem they're not even thinking about, and you're the only person who's dealing with that bigger problem, then you just blew all your competitors out of the water.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you may also like my best-selling book here, Beyond the Agency Box. It is all about scaling a digital marketing agency while eliminating meetings and phone calls. We actually sell our stuff phoneless. We don't have any client meetings, and we also hire our team entirely without meeting phone calls, which allows us to, actually kind of live a life. I've laid out the entire blueprint and everything you need to know, getting clients, onboarding, setting expectations, scaling, building a team, you name it. It has been a bestseller on Amazon now for over 5 straight years, but now you can get it even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. So I can't tell you the exact price because it may change when this video is released, but there should be a link to it below, either in the description of the video or as well as a pinned comment. So if you're interested in that, check out that video and you can get a copy for super cheap.